Morning, everybody. I thought I was going to do a video last night, but I thought against it. I'd sleep on it. I've woke up this morning, started having my cup of tea. Realised I'd left some laundry out on the line yet last night. It was raining, so I've had to rush and get all that back in. Well, a lovely Easter Sunday, by the way. Yesterday was. I don't know about for you guys, but for me it was glorious. Blue skies, sun, lovely. Well, beautiful, beautiful Easter Sunday. Christ is King, after all. Anyway, yeah, I was going to do this video yesterday, but I thought last night I'd sleep on it, see how I felt in the morning. Anyway, I've thought about it, and then I've just been opening the curtains to the living room and thought, yeah, I think I need to talk about this. So, anyway, let's get on with it. I was online yesterday, as I like to be terminally, and having discussions with people, and it was very. I'm going to speak about this like it's a massive, massive problem, and it isn't, and it may be self-selecting, which could also be a problem as well. But I was discussing on the old Twitter, X for those new kids on the block, and this was in circles where I would consider people to be more receptive to these kinds of ideas as well. And basically just saying things like we need to start organising. And the amount of pushback I got against it was unbelievable. And I find it quite surprising, really. And I don't know, maybe I take this for granted because to those you who don't know, I'm ex-army. Nothing fancy, just a mechanic. Only got to the dizzying heights of Lance Corporal, which is like my first rank slide. You know, it kind of like falls out of your Kellogg's cornflakes box type rank. So nothing to brag home about. But I don't know, maybe it's a mindset in the army where people say let's do something, everybody just does it without even thinking, even if it's a terrible idea, you know. Guys, I've got an idea. Let's get a bottle of Jack Daniels each, and we'll all just neck it in an hour, and everyone just go yeah, and you'll all just do it and worry about the consequences afterwards. You know, that's a poor example, but you know, somebody will just say, who fancies going on a skiing holiday in a month? And everybody will say, yeah, let's do it. You know, there's no thoughts. Everybody just gets on with it. You know, if people say they're up for something, they do it. So I find this very strange that when people are saying they're up for political change, and I don't mean violent, I don't mean anything illegal, I don't mean doing anything crazy, just literally, how about we start discussions on forming our own political party? And that way we can't be disappointed. Everybody just comes up with every excuse under the sun why they can't do it. Oh, that can't be done, this can't be done, or you'll get arrested, or you can never break through. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I've only been alive for 40 years. You know, my lying eyes and my lying ears must have been deceiving me all this time when I've seen multiple parties come through who've got popular on what you'd call very contentious issues. I mean, UKIP being a great example of it. You know, they came in from nowhere. Yeah, it was hard work for them. Took them like 20 odd years to do it. They broke through. And the only reason why UKIP failed was because Nigel Farage threw the towel in at the end and said, right, that's it, job done. And another problem with UKIP was they were a single issue party. Yeah, yes, they did have a manifesto of other things, but the way it was advertised as them and the way the country understood UKIP, they were a single issue party, so that killed UKIP. I mean, even somebody brought up the BNP as well. It's like, yeah, but the BNP, again, had the problem of like when Nigel Farage, it was a cult of personality around Nick Griffin. You know, they never got arrested. They never got sent. I'm not saying I want to do the BNP, by the way, for anybody who's saying I'm a BNP supporter. I'm just saying people are throwing out these excuses like, oh, you can't do this, you can't say that, you'll get arrested, blah, blah. It's like, no, you won't. They're just making up excuses, in my opinion. And I just find it cowardly. Like, you have all these people talking about how they want all this change and they want all this stuff doing. And then the moment you suggest it to any of them, oh, we can't do that. Oh, you're a fool. And then at the end of it, well, you do it and I'll laugh as you fail. It's like, are you really that much of a psychopath? You want all this change, and then when somebody actually says, let's do this, you say you'll laugh if they fail, if they try and fail. I can't get my head around it. I cannot get my head around it. And to be honest with you, I've experienced this in other parts of my life, you know, like before, like when I've tried, you know, like when I first said I was going to get in a band, and this was when I was a kid, and the amount of people who just laughed and scoffed at the idea of joining a band and trying to make something of my life. All right, it never went anywhere, but you know what? I had a lot of fun doing it. I don't get the mentality. I mean, is this just a UK problem if you're not from the UK? You know, like, do you get people, I don't know, in America or Australia or Ireland or wherever you're listening from? Do you get people doing the same thing there? Like, I I just can't get my head around. I genuinely cannot understand this problem that people have, where they say that they want stuff, and then when you suggest, well, let's do something about it, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's just inventing. You know, if a lot of this that you see online about people complaining about politics is they don't actually care. They're just complaining because they like complaining. And I wonder if that's what a lot of this actually is. Because, like I say, because the moment you suggest something, can't do it. Roadblocks straight away. Straight away, they're blocking you. Strange. Very, very strange. I don't understand that mentality. And again, I come as well as being in the army. I also come from an engineering background as well. Again, I was only a mechanic, but working on things like tanks and stuff like that. And then I went on the railway where I was working on a safety critical preventative maintenance engineering train. My job on that was to drive operate the train because the train had plant equipment on it. But we also did all the reactive maintenance and preventative maintenance on the train as well, and any repairs that needed doing on it. So again, I don't get. So if something had go wrong with the train or at night, even if we damaged the track whilst working on it, we wouldn't throw in the towel saying, "Oh God, it's all gone wrong." We'd just get on with fixing it, with fixing our own mistakes. Or if we turned up and there was work there that hadn't been spotted by the inspectors, we wouldn't complain and say how unreasonable this was. We'd just crack on and just fix it. Just get on with doing the job. So I don't get this mindset, and maybe it's just because of my experience of life of working in military and engineering that I've got this unique perspective and this unique view, and maybe I'm the one who's the weirdo here. Maybe my approach is just wanting to tackle things and get on with it and worry about the consequences later. Maybe mine, and I don't mean that's not quite the right way because we did worry about consequences, especially in engineering. It was very, very safety focused minded, but it's what you're working within what you already know and with the experience that you have. And I'm not going to get into explaining it. Basically, it was taking mitigated risks. Basically, what we were doing to try and put it as bluntly as I could. It's like when you cross the road. That's a mitigated risk. You don't not cross the road because crossing the road is dangerous. You cross the road and take as many safety precautions as you can. I don't know, but again, to give you a little bit of background on myself, I delivered my first child myself, with my own two hands. My oldest child, I was the very first person she saw in the world. And I delivered her, and I introduced myself to her, and it was wonderful. So I don't know, mate. Maybe I am a unique person in that way that I'm just willing to do things. I ran a marathon in Kuwait as well. And even a lot of other people who were running it, they were running it in sections as teams. So say there was two of them, they would do a half a marathon each, or four of them would do a quarter of a marathon each, as an example. I ran the whole marathon, me and a handful of other people. So maybe I am a unique person like that. I don't know. Please, please let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested to know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I am just repeating myself, I think, now anyway. And it's just a very, very, I just find it very, very strange. Very, very strange way of thinking about the world and why people do that. I'll leave it at that. Please do like and subscribe if you've found that interesting or it's giving you so much to think about, even whether you disagree with me or you agree with me. Definitely please do put comments below because I do love reading people's comments and getting feedback, and I always do try to get back to everybody as well as quickly as I can. If I don't get back to you straight away, it's because I'm thinking about what you've written as well. Thank you. Goodbye.